Hi, I'm Shirley. I'll be today's host for Polymer Clay TV, and in this episode we're going to be talking about new ways with liquid clay. So here are some samples of some experiments I did in about 2004, believe it or not. It's been quite a while. These are samples of liquid clay, and I used translucent liquid Sculpey. And if you can look over on this side here, it's probably hard for the camera to pick up, but I've got just the liquid Sculpey, and I have squeezed it out onto a tile, just a smooth white tile. It doesn't have to be clear. I'm just doing it freehand, and so this one is clear, this one's clear, and then this is with pastel chalks added to the top. So I just rub them on. I rub some green, and then I usually use at least two colors, and then I rub some yellow. So these were actually like embellishing a frame that I had of my daughter, and we had some leaves, and there was some leaves in her senior portrait, so we did that. Here's some leaves, you can tell that. So basically all of these pieces were done with the translucent liquid Sculpey, baked, and then the chalks were rubbed on the top of them. So let me just point out a few different things. This piece right here, below my finger, has not been glazed. So you can have a matte look, and once it's baked, you come out with the clear and then you put the chalks on. I go ahead and put it in for about 5-10 more minutes just to seal the chalks. So you don't really have to have the glaze on top, so you can have that matte finish, or you can have a real shiny finish, as the word clay here. So some of these other ones, a rose, I actually stuck that onto, right after it was baked, it was very smooth on the back, and I was able to put that onto glassware. So I showed that also on the TV demo that I did with these in '04. Now I wanted to point this one out too. You notice, if you can see, that the center of that flower is very dimensional. And what I did was I did the outside, the petals, and then I did the center, baked it, and then I came back and I just added more around the center. So you can make a cabochon effect. Let me give you a little tip here too. If you let your translucent liquid Sculpey age for even a couple years, I have some that's maybe 6 years old now or more, it will get thicker over time. So that's actually a plus. So aged TLS is very hard to come by, but you can do that yourself. You don't really have to take the lid off the bottle, but you can age it just by having it and waiting to use it. So the older it gets, the thicker it gets, and so that is good for what I'm calling here, by the way, is called gel art. And I kind of just decided that's kind of what it looked like, little jellies. They used to wear little jelly shoes. So I call this gel art. So also, if you can come down here to these red dots, you can see that you can add as much or as little red chalk as you'd like. So you can start with just a little bit here, and maybe get a pink, and then kind of a medium red, and then a kind of, it's more of a fuchsia actually now I'm looking at it, but it could look red to you. So you can do different levels of color on there. You can also use your mica powders, and that's what this square spiral is. That is mica powders. And you can also get this little effect here, and this is more for like altered art or whatever. I've made some of these tiles before, used some kind of rust color around it, and then I actually used rub-ons and I did art. So you can take letter rub-ons and just rub them on the top. They stay, you don't need anything on top of them. And I made these particular gel art pieces with scrapbooks in mind. So that's why, they're just kind of designs, basically, maybe a word. Let me just also mention, for the last thing also over here, is you can make your dots. So these are cabochons, and those were just one layer actually, and they have quite a good dimension on them. Do the chalk, so I did some green, some yellow in the middle, bake those, and then after, instead of making that taller, I took and I did a spiral on the top. And that spiral kind of came out, and I'm trying to see, I might have added a teensy bit, just a tiny bit of white oil paint to the liquid clay before I put it on there, and used a separate squeeze bottle with an extra fine tip and a little metal tip, and got that spiral on there, and it really shows up more when you use just a little bit of the white paint. So I talked about doing words with the liquid clay, and this was a cute page I did happy birthday on, and I did the same basic thing. I do usually use, like I said, different colors, so I used like a lighter green and a darker, lighter, darker, so I just had kind of a shaded effect, and then I put a nice bright yellow there with the pastel chalks on the candle kind of for birthday. So this was one example of a scrapbook page. So this is an example of my second scrapbook page, And I have 2 layers on the leaf that you see in the center. And I actually use the pattern from the print on the scrapbook paper. So I used clear glass, and you want to use tempered glass for my work surface and baking surface. And I drew out, or basically traced around, and did a flat piece of liquid Sculpey for the bottom layer of the leaf, baked that, brought it out, did the chalks on there, and then I added a white liquid Sculpey with the oil paint tint to it for the outline. And that came out really nice for the dimension on that. So this is a shot of the bottom corner of the scrapbook page, and again I used a design from the printed paper, and it's a little firefly. And I made him the same way as I made the last one, and the little parts that you can see like on his head and his antennas are black, so I just added a tiny bit of black oil paint to the liquid Sculpey. And then when it was all baked, I actually glued it onto a piece of acetate and framed that, so it's a cute little 2D embellishment. And this is an art journal that I made, and it has that altered look that I was talking about, so lots of brown tones and golds. And I actually made these cabochons out of the liquid clay. And it was nice and old liquid clay, so they came out very dimensional. So when they came out, I used a brown color around them and a gold color in the middle, and then I thought I'd try something new, and that was to stamp letters on there, and it worked with a Stays-On ink pad. So I just stamped the dream letters on there, and it worked, so that was a lot of fun. And then let me open this up, and this was kind of an experiment in itself. I just kind of squiggled the liquid Sculpey all over my white smooth ceramic tile, and then I dropped in some metal charms and beads. This is a bead and these are 2 charms. And so then I baked that, and when I took it out, I put some glue, actually some liquid size, which you use for gold leafing, on the back of this piece, and then I laid it down onto some variegated gold leaf foil. So, and it stuck and it stayed, and I was able to pull off the foil from the edges, and I got this real interesting looking altered blob. So I have saved the best for last for this video, and these are my new Holo faux glass beads. They also use a very similar technique, but not exactly the same, few more steps than my gel art. And I've already made these beads, and some of it has been made into jewelry. It's just basically just getting finished. And I have some filigree pieces on the ends of this Holo bead, and I have some amber topaz kind of colors there with the chalks, same thing with the chalks, and some blues to purple here. And these are going to be earrings, and this will be a necklace. So these I have available on a instant download that I'm going to show you, or you can also get them on a DVD. So this is the cover of my new digital Crafty booklet. We're calling it a booklet. It's 20 pages long, and it gives you step-by-step instructions on how to make those faux glass beads. And they are Holo. I have made them into jewelry, basic jewelry pieces, and I do give instructions for the necklace, the earrings, and so you will know how to make the beads. And this will be available on my website, www.shirleyroofner.com. Thanks for coming today. Thank you. Bye-bye.